Christian, thanks for taking the time to chat again. I really appreciate it. Last time we spoke, I think you were announcing the stomping grounds and all that fun stuff with Puma last June. So I'm glad we're keeping this every June kind of conversation going.
Yeah, it's working. It's working well so far.
Awesome, awesome, very cool. I know obviously you guys are prepping for Copa here coming up, friendly in a couple days, in the tournament in a couple weeks, but just, how are you feeling mentally, physically after the season domestically in Italy leading into this tournament?
I'm feeling great, mentally, I think in a very good place. Obviously, a step in the right direction as far as, individually, how the season went, got a lot of minutes and feeling strong about my performances and feeling good going into it. And then physically, yeah, as you normally do after a season, a little bit tired, but still ready to go. So I'm excited for everything that's to come.
Yeah, I love it. And you touched on my next point. I was going to say 11 goal or no, 12 goals, excuse me, 12 goals, 8 assists in Serie A there this season. How much confidence does that give you coming into the summer here, knowing that you personally had a successful season there in Italy?
It definitely gives confidence. Makes me yeah, feel like I can still play a little bit. I feel pretty confident and just in my play in general. I feel good on the field. I feel dangerous. I feel like I can make things happen and absolutely scoring goals, getting assists. It's just going to help that even more.
Yeah, definitely. Talking on that confidence and looking back a couple years now at this point at the 2022 World Cup, that if I'm not mistaken, I think DeAndre Yedlin was the only player on that roster to have prior World Cup experience. So, what was that experience like for you as a first timer out there? And how much confidence and experience does that give the team as a whole now heading into another major tournament here this summer with Copa?
There's nothing like the World Cup, I will say. Just the feelings that you have going into it, the nerves, the anxiousness, the build up going into the games. It is definitely something that is good to get your first one out of the way. Not out of the way. I loved every second of it. It was incredible. But to just to experience it and have that in your back pocket going into the rest of your career, I feel like now that you've done that and you've played at the highest level in international soccer, I feel like you can do anything. So it absolutely helped myself. It helps the whole team for sure. And yeah, now with some really big stuff to come, we're gonna be feeling just a little bit more comfortable for sure.
Yeah, everything else is easy after the World Cup, right? You get the first one under your belt, and then you're like, all the other tournaments are just cakewalks.
Oh, that's what I like to tell myself, but it'll be all the same once it goes.
Yeah, right. What's with Copa coming up this summer, obviously as the host nation for the second time in the tournament's history, but what pressures, does the US team face, like I said, being the host here and having all eyes, I know the Euros are going on as well too, but Copa is obviously just such a big tournament. So, what pressures do you guys feel, especially as a host nation?
I think there's pressures no matter what. I don't think necessarily playing it in the US is going to add any additional pressure. I think, of course, we're going to have our people here. They're going to be watching, and hopefully we can put on some good soccer and inspire people. That's our goal. We want to go out and we want to compete to win the thing. That's always going to be what we strive for. But yeah, like I said, I don't think necessarily playing in the US is going to give us that any type of added pressure. It's just for me, it's even just great having family and people there, and I love playing games like that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot nicer than being halfway across the world in different time zones and all that stuff that it's like, hey, maybe Eastern Pacific time, it's only a couple hours instead of all the way in Qatar or somewhere else. You mentioned inspiring people and growing the game, and we're seeing so much of it here in the US and Copa this summer, the FIFA Club World Cup next summer, the Men's World Cup, the Olympics in 28, and potentially the Women's World Cup in 31, which would be awesome too. Just talk about kind of the testament that is to US to soccer's growth here in the US and just how exciting of a time it is, for you and everybody else involved for the next 5+ years.
It's the most exciting time for this sport in this country. I mean, it's something that we can all look forward to. I mean, just to see the growth from when I started playing in Europe 10 years ago to what the sport has become here now has already been an incredible jump. And I think we can even take that even further. I mean, it's got to be the fastest growing sport in this country, and now with these big events coming, it's really going to take off, and that's only going to improve more with this team, being successful and continuing to push and try to win things. And yeah, as well as the women, as well as all these events that you mentioned, it's just a really exciting time for the sport here.
Yeah, certainly. Obviously, more support, eyeballs, interest, investment than ever before in this country, and we're seeing it from brands as well too, that they're really putting their money behind engaging these audiences. So, talk about your relationship with Michelob Ultra and the stuff you guys have in store, this summer for Copa.
Yeah, well, Michelob Ultra for me has been just a really great partner. I mean, they our values really align. The way they're wanting to promote an active lifestyle, and with uh, with everything with them and the collaboration that's going to be coming out with Puma here shortly is something that I think is really sick. So I think people are going to love to see it, and yeah, I'm excited about
And I'm
yeah
sure.
having.
Go ahead, sorry. I was gonna say that's got to be great for you that you have Mick Ultra, Puma, you. It's like all just kind of all coming together, right?
Yeah, no, this is a really good collab, so I think you're gonna like it.
Very cool. And finally, knowing our time is kind of coming to an end here soon, what would you say is success, for the team this summer? I know obviously at the World Cup, you guys got out of the group stage, which was great, but then it was falter against the Netherlands in that first knockout round. So is it winning that first knockout game? Is it hoisting the trophy? Like, how do you guys measure success this summer?
I don't like to put that exact point in the tournament that is a success or not a success. For me, um, we're going to take it game by game for sure. We want to get out of the group. That's our first goal. Going from there, you go into the knockout rounds, and the only way you can look at it is focus on the team you're playing and try to win each game. I think you can only really tell with the feeling afterwards how you performed, how far you went. You'll feel it afterwards. But I think for us, it's just about taking it game by game and competing and going to try to win this tournament. That's the only mentality you can go in with.
Yeah, definitely. And how important, I lied, second to last question. Now, this is the last one. How important is it getting off to a good start in the group stage so you guys aren't maybe facing a do or die situation in game three against, Uruguay, who are potentially one of the favorites?
It's huge for us, of course. Looking at the first two games, we got to go out and really just looking at the first game, going out and getting a win, putting on a good performance first and foremost is what we're after, and I think the results will take care of themselves. But absolutely, like you said, a good start is going to be key for us.